I loved to work when I was a kid, and I was always begging people to let me do something for them so I could make some money. We were, on welfare, and I hated that. And I wouldn't even eat with our little lunch card. If there was anybody around that would see me eating a free lunch, I was like, nope, not hungry. So I had worked. It was Fulmer's Drugstore, and I laughed because Jessica said, well, what did you do there? I said, I was a soda jerk. I made, sodas and banana splits and a couple of grilled cheese sandwiches and hamburgers. So that was it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Fulmer's, I see photos everywhere around Melbourne, in all kinds of restaurants and everything. Just right out here on the corner, that picture of the corner of the building with the Fulmer sign. It's become an icon of historic Melbourne. You know?
It really was. And right over there, somewhere, there was an old, what was left of a train station. They had a caboose or a train of some sort sitting right across the street. I don't really remember where it was, but yeah, it was. This town was fascinating. When you drove into the city limits, a mile is 5,280 feet. Mm-hmm. The population of Melbourne was 5,240 or something like that. That was the whole population. And I think it even took in part of O'Galley area. I don't know where the boundaries were, but yeah, it was. I've watched it grow. I love this town. So
that's awesome. Well, clearly you've been a part of its growth as well.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's awesome. So this was a drugstore at the time. I know wasn't that one time this is, I think, prior to being a drugstore. I remember this. I think this was a little restaurant called the Copper Kettle. That
was before my time.
Before your time, definitely before your time.
The 50s is we got here in 51.
Yeah.
So before that, I don't really know too much about.
And then there was a movie theater and then other little stores and shops.
Yeah,
and stuff
there was a couple of other little things there, but mainly there was the Van Croy Theater and the donut place. And I think there was an insurance place over there somewhere.
Yeah, you need to describe this donut place again because the mic was off. You really do. Yeah, so I just want to hear it again. I can't go eat them, so I just want to imagine.
I know. Well, it was. They were so delicious, and you could get a little carton of milk for a nickel, and you could get 6 Krispy Kreme donuts, and they would come right out of they were in the grease, cooking, and then they would come out on the wire rack and be thrown into the sugar, the icing, and then the other little thing would scoop them up and lay them on a wire to drain, and they would fill them hot right there.
And you're watching that happen.
Oh yeah, you're looking at it. It was like, oh my gosh.
Marketing.
Yeah.
Marketing. That's great. I love it.
You had to buy it for sure. So.
I love it.
It's good.
Fantastic.
Welcome to the Legacy Angel Network Venture Lounge, where nothing ventured is nothing changed. For Matt Helmenthaler, press 1. For member services, press 2. For real raw startup stories, press 3. For all other questions or concerns, please wait on the line in our
Good evening, everyone. I'm Matt Helmenthaler, and you're listening to Venture Lounge, after-hour conversations with founders and investors. These are the stories, insights, and conversations that you aren't going to find on the company website. Because the real lessons you learn in the startup world, the risks you take as an entrepreneur, the highs and the lows, the moments in your journey when no one else believes in you right before you break through. Those are the moments that you just have to hear for yourself. So grab a drink and listen in to the men and women who are changing the world. Welcome to the Venture Lounge.
Well, welcome, Darlyne, and welcome back to Venture Lounge, everybody. Nothing venture, nothing changed. My name's Connor Sherman, creative director here at Legacy Angel Network, and we're joined today, as always, by our fearless founder, Matt Helmenthaler. Matt, what's up?
Hello.
You got the slides on today. Usually got laces or something. This is a new direction for Matt.
I just thought, I'm just going to go for it. It's feeling a little froggy this morning. Yeah, go on slides.
Just let them feet breathe, bro, with the bare
feet. Let them breathe. Yep. Yep, old school. Like Tom's today.
Yeah.
Did you ever get into the Tom's phase?
You know, it's like it's hard to. Well, we had early on 14 size 14, and Toms were a little bit difficult.
I remember when Tom's. Yeah, these are 14s.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah. I remember when Tom's actually does a lot in 14s nowadays. I just want you to know. But and they're more comfortable than they were when they first came out. But I remember when Tom's first came out, they would just do these little things at coffee shops around the country.
Yeah.
And just talk about, hey, you buy a pair of shoes, we donate a pair of shoes, and then all of the kids in skinny jeans were all about
100%.
And it's true. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
I had some black glitter Toms.
Yeah, there you go. And so
I have no doubt that whatever you had, they were glittery. No doubt.
Yeah, so I'm the proud owner of 3 pairs of Toms. I still don't know if they donate the shoes anymore, but I still wear them. I like them.
Yeah, they were really trendy for a long time.
Thank you. I gave you a little bit more background there than you're probably pushing for.
Matt, who's our guest today?
Yeah. So let me introduce our
Well, we got some shoes going on, so that's good.
It's shoes, everybody. Miss Darlyne McGee. Did I pronounce that correct?
Yes.
Awesome. So Jessica, our fearless something.
Meme library.
Jessica is like the Energizer Bunny.
Never changes.
Meets a dictator. But it's also, kind of like kind and squeaky and everything else. But she does so many different things around here, and she's an amazing part of our team. But so Jessica worked with Darlyne years ago, and there's a little story about a brush I want to hear about later. I'm not
telling that story.
I want to read this verbatim because it's really no. I want to read it verbatim, Darlyne. It's my show, and you can't stop me.
Oh, dang! No control here. I'm in a very uncomfortable position, being a control freak.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get you off your game a little bit. All right.
Okay.
So Darlyne's love affair with hair began in 1966 while working as a receptionist in a hair salon. She opened her first silhouette hair design in January of 1973.
It's awesome.
You weren't even a thought.
Y'all weren't even born, probably.
I was born in 78.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I know, right? I look older, though, right? Now celebrating its 50th anniversary. Let's give it up. 50th anniversary.
Yay!
She has inspired, motivated, mentored, and educated over 500 cosmetologists. Many are salon owners and employees in the area today. That is what we call economic development. I love it. Expanding to 6 salons and a beauty school, a big part of Darlyne's mentoring was inspiring others to love community service by involving her staff and other salons in community charity and chamber events. Love that, Miss Darlyne. Darlyne at 84 years young. Look at you, girl.
I know. Good Lord.
Spend 6 days.
How'd this happen?
6 days a week.
Monday through Saturday, go to work.
As silhouette and still attends hair shows and educational classes. She's had a very rewarding and wonderful career helping others achieve their dreams. Some favorite professional awards and achievements are licensed cosmetologist for 58 years, licensed cosmetology instructor for 22 years, Florida Cosmetologist of the Year, Florida Hair Fashion Committee Judge, 16 years, published author, Melbourne Chamber Woman of Excellence, Top 200 Salon in America Award, 7 years. 2023 Women Who Rock Female Business Owner of the Year. What?
Yeah.
50th anniversary celebration in 2023. Personally, I don't know how you have time for anything personal.
I do. I manage. I can take off whenever I want. That's a good thing.
That's a great thing about being the boss.
It is.
Right?
It really is.
You can pick up and go to Red Dress Run in Louisiana anytime you want.
It.
All right. Personally, Darlyne loves to travel and spends most of her free time, in her words, with her greatest achievement and most dear to her heart, her family. 3 children, Charlie, Debbie, Ricky, 7 grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren. They have been her biggest supporters through thick and thin. Everyone, Darlyne McGee. I love it.
That's amazing, Darlyne.
That is a little brief synopsis there.
Well, no,
that's my story. I mean, yeah.
That sets the stage, and I mean, that's 50 years on a beautiful summary on it. See, I would have, to put something like this together, I would have had to use GPT.
That's not even a joke.
That's not a joke. That's not a joke. Hey, Matt, write a bio about yourself. I don't know.
No, Darlyne, well, this is interesting. Have you heard the term burnout? Like that you just do something for so long that it just wears on you. You don't seem to have that problem at all. Like you came in energetic, excited, talking about hair. You got the purple highlights. You're just killing it. Like where's the staying power come from? Well,
I think, I was reading Jessica's little synopsis about what I should talk about and all that, and it was everything in the world that you could possibly think of. But it said, what qualities do you need to be in business, or what's the most important thing? And to me, the most important thing is find something you love to do and do it better than anyone else around you, and the rest is history. I mean, the money will come. Everybody says, well, I want a job that makes a lot of money. Well, find something you love, do it really well, and the money will come. And, it depends. I mean, you're not going to make millions doing hair, but it's very gratifying. It's sent me around the world 20 or 30 times in many countries, many studying hair, so.
And you've made a really vivid life out of it, obviously. I mean, that's so cool.
Oh, absolutely. It has served me very, very well. It's been good to me. I've been good to it. Had a lot of rewards, like Jessica, and everybody says, they always ask me, I love this young lady because she was in the Navy, and I'm not going to talk about Jessica, but it's that's where my heart is, to seeing young people come in. They're in beauty school. They have high hopes and dreams, and I try to share qualities with them that will help them to be successful, whether they stay in here or they don't, because it's not meant for everybody for a lifetime. And like in my day, you got one job, you kept it for life. That's not the way. I think the average young person today may have like 6, 7 jobs that they work quite a while at. So, but her success is my success, because I know that I put some stuff into her that would help her. Not that she didn't have it all herself, but none of us have it all. We need, I think we need influence. We need support. We need people that will cover our back, that can kind of help you. And maybe a hairbrush on the bottom end might have helped.
I know the rumor is, Darlyne, you've been known to throw a hairbrush if you need to,
I did not throw it. No, I just swatted her a little bit. Mine have swatted their hands a couple of times when I'm trying to train them something, and I'm saying, this is the way we do it, and they're going like, no, stop.
And what's funny, when we went to the last time we went to the last Chamber of Commerce retreat, or what is is it Chamber of Commerce?
It's a leadership retreat.
Right.
Because we're leaders.
The thing we went to in Jupiter, Scott and I and Beck went to like a little diner in the morning to eat breakfast, and the lady waiting us was just, for whatever reason, she's like, I'm going to guess your occupation, and she looked at Jess and she was like, cosmetologist, like immediately. I don't know, because it was like,
I've never heard this story. That's funny.
It was weird. It was like we were like cracking up about that.
I used to be.
But I think it was just because it was like 7 a.m. and Beck's hair is like on point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was wearing all black.
Oh, well, that tells the story. That is the story. Yeah. What do we wear? This is our dress code, people. You come in black, and having to be a flexible boss, which that is not in my nature. Okay, well, we'll wear black, white, and gray. Okay? Does that satisfy you getting a little creative? Okay, we'll use black, white, and gray, and you can add a little purple deal. Pretty soon we're going to look like a circus in there. Just come in and go the merry-go-round. But
Darlyne, what were your first entrepreneurial steps into your career?
Well, it's really kind of interesting. I got married very young. I don't even want to say the age. I got married very young, and At 16, I will say it. Crazy, just four of us sitting around saying, what are we going to do next week? Why don't we go to Georgia and get married? Okay, that sounds like a really great idea. Oh my God, that was a horrible idea.
It sounds like me and my wife.
But I do have 3 fabulous children as a result of it, so it's no regrets there. But it happened to be with a very jealous, possessive husband that didn't want me to work. He liked me to be home. So I fought tooth and nail. I was involved in, chairman of everything at the kids' school, president of this, cheerleader, coach, baseball, whatever, to keep busy doing something. I don't know, it's just my nature. I need to be involved. They call it FOMO today. Fear of missing out, So I have that disease really bad,
You were way before you were diagnosed, you know what I mean?
Yeah. They didn't even, it was like if something was happening, I guess, I got to be there. I've got to be involved. What can I do? So anyway, to make a long story short, I handled the bills, and we came to back to Melbourne in '61. We had gone to Michigan, and to get rich. It didn't happen. We came back to Melbourne. He was on the Melbourne Police Department. His big salary for the year of 1961 was $3,800 and some odd dollars a year.
Wow.
So, we were penny pinching, and he used to say I could do more with $1 than any human he ever saw. I can feed 14 people if you come over to my house and I have $2. That's no problem. But anyway, so, I was always pinching and scrimping and this and that, and we had just got our car paid off, and he got car fever. And I never stood up to him. He didn't want me to work. I said, okay, I'll raise the kids. That was a more important job anyway. But he was like, you're never going to work. I want to go to work. You just want to go to work so you can fool around oh my God, no, I don't have time for that. I just want to go to work because I don't like being broke, so. Anyway, I went to get a job at Radiation, and they hired me, and I was sitting next to a girl that said, I told her my story. My husband's never going to let me keep you. I can't even imagine him allowing me to go to work from 3 to 9 with 5,000 men every night. Not happening, but I have to prove a point here, So anyway, she says to me, you'd probably like this job I had. It's only it wasn't enough hours for me. I said, I just need a few hours just to, get a few dollars. All I want to do is make $100 a week. And at minimum wage was 50 cents? No, wait a minute. No, it was $1.10. It was $1.10. Wow. So I was calculating, how I might. And I went to work. I said, good, where did you work? And she said, a hair salon. I said, really? What'd you do? She said, shampoo hair and answer the phone. I said, well, shoot, I could do that, The rest is history. The girls started saying, oh my gosh, you should go to beauty school. You are so good. You have a natural knack for hair. Go to school. And of course, my husband was fighting me tooth and nail. And he actually caught the beauty school open one night. He was running his rounds at midnight or something, and it was open, and the owner lived in Titusville, and she comes down, and he said, my wife's been talking about going to beauty school. So she says, oh my gosh, well, I'll let her have it for half price. I still have my receipt, $200.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
It was $400, but she gave me half price, so it was $200 to go to beauty school. And I don't know, so something magical happened when I touched hair. Me and the hair both just came alive, and I've had that kind of feeling about it ever since, and still do. I mean, I can't hardly, stand up for hours and do hair anymore. And when the girls are getting ready to do something exciting, I mean, I get to just be there. I want my hands in it so bad, but, So I'm over there interfering with their work and trying to teach them something. And so that's how it happened. So the good and the bad, it said, somewhere in there it was some of the qualities that you should have. And I found this list, and one of the top ones on there, it wasn't mine. My top thing is you got to love what you do. Because if you go every day to something, you've got to be able to love it and be happy and be excited about being there, and, treat your last customer of the day the same as you would your first customer. You just have to be ready. But anyway, it said on this list, humility. Well, to make a long story short, I got, I discovered I could really do something. I didn't have to be dependent on a man, so, and he'd been telling me that for 25 years. I couldn't survive without him, but, I found out I could. And,
Good for you.
so anyway, it was like, oh my gosh, I was just discovering myself. My kids were all getting big. My youngest one was getting ready to go to college. And I said, this is all about me. So I thought I was all that in a bag of chips. And I opened a big salon. I opened a one little tiny shanty of a salon in 73. Downtown Melbourne, actually. The fork in the road in Melbourne.
Oh, wow.
And there's a little building that has two, I think there is a hair salon in there right now, but right past there was a little tiny 7-Eleven, and there was a little 2-building store. And so anyway, that's where I started. And then my dream was to bring to Melbourne the best of hair, because I got so sick of hearing people say, oh, I've got to go to Miami to get my foils. I have to go fly up to New York when I'm in New York visiting my family. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Melbourne should have the best of everything, And so I got obsessed with studying hair, and I was spending every penny I could get my hand on, flying somewhere to New York, London, Paris, wherever I could go, to get educated and to be able to stay ahead of the game, and if a client mentioned something, oh, I hear in New York they're doing, da-di-da, and I said, oh, we do that, sure. What do you need, And fortunately, the story goes, my reputation started to spread, and everybody wanted to come and work for me. So I thought it was me they wanted to come and work for. It wasn't. They just wanted a job. But, I was not taking it that way. It was all about me. And all these shopping centers that were being built, they all sent me notices. Oh, Silhouette would be a perfect fit for our conglomerate of people, So I was opening salons all over the place. I thought I was all that in a bag of chips. And there was no humility left at that particular time. And I'm very into my God, and I've always been close to him. I've talked to him since I was like 5 years old. And you sit over there. I'm kind of busy right now, So next thing I know, he's very jealous. You do not want to ignore him if you want to have a lot of peace in your system.
Right.
So the next thing I knew, I was like $400,000 in debt. I'd opened a beauty school and 3 salons in a year. You just do not do that. You open one, build it and they will come. That's a fallacy. Build it and work your butt off for several years and then they'll come, but it's not like magic. And so anyway, I was in debt. My accountant, my CPAs are saying, you better file bankruptcy. There's no way you're going to pay off $400,000 doing $18 haircuts.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I can and I will. And of course, I went to where I should have been in the first place, on my knees and praying a lot. And I said, Lord, I'm sorry. I don't know. I've got myself in a mess and only you can get me out. And people laugh when I say miracles happen, but they really did.
Mm-hmm.
One guy that was suing me for $125,000 because I had closed up a salon emotionally, just closed it, and I just signed a new 5-year lease. So I owed him $125,000, and he was like, I'm not settling for any less, and one day I'm doing a preacher's hair for free, a female preacher, and I get a call from my attorney. He says, I don't know what happened, but these people are willing to settle for $20,000. And I said, what? And he says, yeah, I don't know what happened. And then I said, I do. It was God. He's giving me a miracle. He's giving me an opportunity to redeem myself for being crazy. But anyway.
Well, a few things, Darlyne. I love, one, how you kept hearing people say, I got to go to Miami, I got to go to New York. Like, Melbourne doesn't have this.
Yes.
And you determined that you were just going to make it. Like, you were going to make that thing that you wanted
And,
here.
it's funny. I had a girl in the other day she came to our salon when she was 14 years old to go to a homecoming or a prom. And she said, your salon was the only place to go. And we were like the place to go. I had number ones on the wall. I mean, talk about nuts. And I gave all my staff number ones, gold number ones, after they'd been with me for a year.
Amazing.
I was on like a trip that was very bad. No humble there. I mean, it was like, it's all about me. No, it wasn't about me. It was about the grace of God that was allowing me to be successful, but I didn't quite get it at that moment. And so anyway, I felt like Melbourne should have the best. Why should we have to go anywhere?
Right.
You know, there was people that were happening. They were professional people. It was growing, you know, and I think we were about 150,000 people at that time, maybe, and up, you know. So, yeah, I was just kind of obsessed with education, and I still am. It's ridiculous. 84, I don't even do hair, but I do still teach it.
Yeah.
So, but if there's a class going on, I start getting, I can't explain it, you know, the FOMA is taking over. Oh my God, I need to go to New York. It's the IBS show. And nobody's going to New York right now. It's like a little bit scary. So I haven't been there in like three years, but I didn't miss the New York show for like 33 years.
Wow.
Because, you know, it was kind of the place to go.
Yeah.
Studied in Europe, went to hair shows, competitions. The United States won the World Hairdressing Championships in 1984.
Amazing. Okay, well, elaborate on that. What happens at the World Hairdressing Championships,
I'll
Marley?
tell you, I mean, people, when I say that, you know, I was a competition judge for about 22 years, and people say, what do you do there? Well, I should have brought some pictures, but I didn't. They have a compulsory form, you know, like the hair has to be, it can't be just any old thing you want to take there and show them.
Right.
They have a compulsory form by some big committee that's figured it out what's going to be for that year. And you compete. They start in the United States locally, and they'll compete in our 3 major cities, New York, Chicago, and LA or Atlanta. One of them, they'll have big competitions, and people, these women that are crazier and more addicted to hair than I am, I mean, spend thousands to get in these competitions. I mean, thousands, these beautiful gowns and hours of practice and stuff like that, and they do these gorgeous hairstyles, and then they win. It's just like any Olympic tryout, whether you're a runner or it's for you know, basketball or whatever. You compete here, then when the winners, then they go and compete there, and then the winners compete, and pretty soon, well, we won actually. The World Championship was in Las Vegas in 1984. The first time it had been there in like 20 years for somebody to been in the United States. Because usually then they have the European competitions, and then they have the world competitions. So the Hair World 84 was the year that we won.
That's amazing.
And I was on the hair fashion committee, and one of our girls actually, she was the champion. They have a team of 3, but they're all scoring points, you know, and the points, so she had the most points. So,
wow.
But you know, the difference between the winner is just like in racing or swimming or any other kind of meet. I mean, it's seconds. You know, to be the best, you only have to be a speck, you know, better than all the rest. It's not like you have to be miles better, just a little bit. So.
That's awesome. You know, I feel like what you're describing, bringing the best to Melbourne. I feel like that's a talent of a lot of entrepreneurs and artists, like the best entrepreneurs and artists. They're just recontextualizing something that they are passionate about or find to be really cool. Maybe you see someone else doing it somewhere, and the concept hasn't been proved yet for Melbourne. Like no one's ever seen something like that here. You know, I feel like it's easy for people to get in that mindset of like, oh, that would never work here, or this would, you know what I mean? Like people just wouldn't get it, kind of thing. But like the best, most forward-thinking artists, entrepreneurs, like the game changers, they combined elements that have never been combined before. You're
spot on, man. And as I was listening to you, Darlene, and I was just thinking to myself, like, that's one of the reasons why we started Legacy Angel Network, why we started this group, was that we should have the best of everything. There is a huge talent pool here. You should not have to go somewhere else to get great marketing. You don't. We got far out marketing right here. You shouldn't have to go somewhere else to get great inventors. We have more engineers per capita than anywhere in the country. You shouldn't have to go somewhere else to get great commercialization. We have the best commercialization experts in the country. We're close to space. We're close to the Treasure Coast. We've got all these other things and all this talent around us. Everything that you could possibly need to take a business from here to here does exist in Brevard. And if you have a central kind of an organization pulling all those resources together to create new business, to create that culture, and to fund it and to take it to the next, and I just thought to myself, why aren't we doing this? And so the Melbourne can have the best of everything and does have the best of everything. And even though it's huge, even though this place has grown like crazy, it still feels a little small. It's a very unique place to live because you can. I mean, the housing has gotten a little nuts. However, in comparison to the rest of the state, it's kind of on par. This is a great place to raise a family. You can work here. You can have a good job here. You can raise a family here. They can have opportunity here. And the more entrepreneurs like you keep doing what you're doing, and entrepreneurs like these guys and me keep doing what we're doing, it's just going to create and compound opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And so you have paved the way for us. And so I just want to say thanks.
Oh, great.
I mean, seriously, it's entrepreneurs like you that saw something that didn't exist, that said, I'm going to do that. And then you went for it and you did it, and you had trial and error like every entrepreneur. You had great years and you had tough years, and you stuck to it and you stuck it through, and you built a legacy. So kudos.
Well, thank you.
I just yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what, when Jessica mentioned this to me, I said, what the heck? I listened to all those people, the CDC people and this person and that person, all these higher ups. But, you know, hair is so important to a woman and to men, but to a woman. Women, being a woman, you know, I'm for women. I think we try to do everything. We want to be everything to everybody. We try to take care of our kids, take care of work, you know, our husbands, and all of those things. And, I have several mottos, but one is you cannot be broke and ugly at the same time. You just can't. So, you know, if I'm going to be...
We're going to use that on the clip. You cannot be broke and ugly at the same time.
Yeah, and you also can't be... miserable and ugly at the same time. So the value that hair has for a woman or a man. I mean, I've seen men, you know, that we've given great haircuts to, and they went, oh my gosh, I've been fighting this hair for years, you know, thanks.
Do I need any help?
No, you look good. Jess will probably tell you anything that you need, but you know, the guys that are over 29.
I want you to be really critical. I mean, because I think it's okay, but you know, what do you think?
I think it looks good. You could probably trim up your beard a little more neatly.
Fair. Okay.
You know,
right.
And I would say some products for him, Jess, because his hair is kind of. Beautiful hair, though. Beautiful hair, but I mean, you know, something to make it get in control a little bit and add shine to it. So, yeah, I mean, and everybody feels better when they look better. And I've had many men say, man, color this hair. I'm competing with all these younger guys with all this. Color. No, I would never want to color your hair either. No. But I'm just saying that that's going on even for men. I mean, it's always been that way for women. We got to look younger, you know, all the young guys all the young girls are really hot looking, and we're getting older, you know, and all this stuff.
Yeah, Connor does a lot of Botox. He's actually 74 years old.
Well, he looks really good for 74,
Botox.
honestly. I think that's good.
I like how before Darlene said your hair looks good, she was like, "Well, she like checked the angle. She checked the angle first before she gave you her actual
Well,
opinion.
there's a glare back there, so I'd really like to get up close and personal if I was going to analyze your hair or recommend something to you.
No, I appreciate. No, I really do.
Yeah.
I was being serious.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to know.
Well, I know. I mean, you're a man.
Well,
you like to look good.
I
Why
do.
not? Yes,
I do.
absolutely. And you have a gorgeous wife, so you better be looking
I do.
good.
She's
Yeah.
stunning.
Yeah, she is.
Stunning.
Yeah.
And speaking of that too, like I'm gonna brag on my wife a little bit. I admire her so much. So we had 3 kids, right? And they're all grown. We're trying to become empty nesters. We were for about 3 weeks, and they're all coming back. But during that time, I was working like crazy. I was at Calvary Chapel, and I had all these other things going on. Even before Calvary Chapel, I was just a workaholic. And so she was at home, and she was pouring her life into our family, our kids, and all of that stuff. And there was a point where she's just like, "I'm going back to school. I'm going to go and do my thing." And she did. Like she kind of just juggled all of it. She got, not that I wasn't any help, but I mean, she just was a rock star. And she went and she got her bachelor's degree, and then she went and she got her master's degree, and now she's a speech and language pathologist to the stars. Speech happy. That's if you have any your speech needs. If you're a little tight, go tell your kids about your parents about it. But she's absolute rock star, and I admire her like crazy, watching her go through all of that and then achieve her goal, and then not only achieve her goal, but like coming out cum laude, and she would have been magna cum laude if back when she was 18 she didn't drop out of BCC. Should I have said that? I probably shouldn't have said that. She was doing it basically to marry me. And, so we got married at 18 and 19, so not far off from 16.
Oh, yeah. That's still very young, but you're still together, so that's
we are by the grace of God.
Actually, you got it.
Yeah, it's a miracle she's put up with me. So.
Well, you mentioned Calvary Chapel.
Yeah.
How long did you? What were you doing there?
I was a pastor there from 2004. 2004 to 2015.
Okay, well, I probably have seen you many times.
Yeah.
I went to Israel with Pastor Mark 5 times.
I helped lead one of the trips to Israel back in 2011.
That's one I missed because I went 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16.
Yeah.
I went all those years.
Yeah, but still to this day, one of my favorite places on the planet. I absolutely love Israel. Yeah.
I do too. I'm in love with it. Then you went with the Sarel tours and
went with them. I went and taught in the Valley of Elah. Went
Yeah.
and taught on the
it's
all the cool
awesome.
places. Yeah, it was cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, good times.
Well,
I will tell you a funny story though.
Okay, what is that?
Yeah, so we were baptizing some folks in the Jordan River, which is also just
I got
cool.
my film.
Yeah, that's wild.
I got my video.
And those little fish are eating at your feet while you're doing it. People pay a lot of money for that, but we got it for free. So they're snapping at my feet while I'm baptizing, and then this lady slips into the line. This older Greek lady. She slips into the line into our group, and everyone's wearing their white robes and their things. She wasn't wearing anything underneath, so she gets into the water, and this lady is just full on naked. Like, and I'm looking at the guy that I'm baptizing with, and we're like, and then we're looking over at Mark, and Mark's like. And so we let's just dunk this lady over, and then she turns around, and Mark's facing this way. This lady turns this way, and he goes, "Oh." It was funny. It was absolutely hilarious. We were trying to be serious, but it was too funny.
It was pretty hard to when it's all right there. There were several of them that happened, even though they did warn us about that. They said, wear a bathing suit or wear something that is not see through. But
did you go float in the?
Oh yes,
Dead Sea.
Yes, absolutely.
That was amazing.
Dead Sea?
Dead Sea.
Loved it. Yeah, it was great.
Good times.
Yeah, it was some of my fondest memories for sure.
Yep. Yeah, very, very cool.
But
sidetrack, sorry.
oh, that's okay. That's all right. I had a thought when you were talking about bringing everything to Melbourne. I was always, I don't like to be limited. If I'm going to do something, I always set the records at Meadow Lane Elementary for raising the most money for the carnival, for raising I was like, well, what did we do last year? Okay, well, we got to do a little more this year. Yeah. So I was president of our association because I was on the hair fashion committee. Every time someone quit as president, because it was not an easy job, you had to go out and hustle people and tell them why they should belong to the National Cosmetology Association. Right. Well, what's in it for me? Well, nothing. It's for you to contribute. That's what it's for.
Right.
And so anyway, I was president of the association. I got it like several times in a row, but we always had this big competition during National Cosmetology Month, which is in October. And so when we got it, I got every mayor in the whole county to sign our proclamation. This is National Cosmetology. And get all of our scrapbook. We raised a whole lot of money. I didn't realize it was going to win. So lo and behold, I get a letter. We have won first place in the United States. So we have our little affiliate 26 button, and we go to Chicago. That's where the convention was that year. We go there, and everybody's going, who in the hell is affiliate 26? And where's Melbourne, Florida? I said, hey, that's us. Well, where are you all? Never heard of Melbourne, Florida. I said, well, you need to. It's a happening place. And we were all running around, with our little affiliate 26 buttons on there from Melbourne, Florida. Nobody heard of it. It was really funny. But I was very passionate about we can do anything that anybody else. We don't have to live in New York to make a difference, and to touch people. And we're so privileged in our business. You guys aren't, but we literally get to touch people. Now, what an awesome responsibility that is, because no one gets to touch people unless you're a dentist or a doctor or something like that. But people allow us in that little 3 foot of space that people don't get into. I'm a great study of people. I love going to marketing events and I watch them. And when you get close to people, they back up.
Yep.
And you get a little closer, they back up, because they're not going to let you in that safe space that they've got. Well, we're in it. Yeah. And we're leaning over them and we're close to them and they're telling us all their deepest, darkest things. They tell us stuff that we don't even want to know.
That is a special thing. And you're right, we don't get Connor tries to touch me all the time. And I keep telling him no means no.
Right. Like we try to get a longer couch. All kinds of ways to solve this problem. What to touch on just all these people that you're working with, the students too, hundreds of cosmetologists at this point. Can you tell us a little bit, do you have a Darlyne teaching philosophy, as far as the main things that you're teaching them? Maybe Jess knows, maybe you can recite some Darlyneisms.
Yeah, well, do what I say and do it well. It's like teaching anybody to do anything, but, it's always like you try to teach them something. They want to watch videos. They want to see how Susie does it and Mary does it. And I said, oh, that's great. But wait till you know how to do it, period. Just do it successfully, market your little thing, and then you can change it. You can dice it, slice it, chunk it, do anything you want to it. But, it's that sticking to itness and that determination that you're going to do it the best you can do, and I think that's
Have you ever looked at one of your folks and your ladies and said, beauty school dropout, go back to high school? It's
many. I can usually, honest to God, thank you with your help. I can tell in very short order if they're going to make it or not.
Yeah.
Now, I don't mean they're not going to make it as an okay cosmetologist, get a decent paycheck, go to work, go home. and that's it. But the ones that will make a difference, they'll go out and have their own salons, they'll hire people, they'll train them, and they'll, it's like, it just flows down, there's very few of them out there. And the statistics of beauty schools are horrifying anyway. They say out of 100 students, you're not going to get 10 that'll end up in the field.
Wow.
So that's 100, you get 10. And out of those 10, only 3 or 4 will stay in the business over, I think, 4 years and 7 months, something like that.
Well, how do you tell, Darlene, like, who do you think the archetypal people are that are, like, going to succeed?
There's a whole list of things. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Showing up, that's one. They say, oh, I want to be successful like you. I said, well, all you got to do is show up.
Yeah.
Show up when you're supposed to show up. That's it. That's the worst thing. They can't show up. They're sick all the time. And they would say, well, you're always here because it's your business. No, I worked for another guy for 8 years before I opened a salon. Never missed a day of work.
Right.
If I'm supposed to be at work, I'm going to be at work. That's my word, my integrity, my whatever. And so I tell them, just show up. That's more than 90% of the people are going to do.
Right.
Because they're going to call out sick, they're going to not want to work, they're going to be lazy, they're going to go home, they're not booked, they want time off, and that's the main thing. And then loving people. I had one little girl say, I was like telling her, when you meet somebody and you greet them, you grab their hand or you touch their shoulder because, we're privileged to touch someone. So it's very important. A lot of people never get touched and they need that contact, one-on-one contact. And this little girl looked at me right now and she says, oh, I can't stand to touch people. I said, sweetheart, I would suggest you go to the bank, get a job, Publix, anywhere. But we touch people. We're laying over and we're practically on top of them. Our knees are touching when we're, and you don't like to touch people. This isn't going to be good for you. It's just not going to be good. So you can tell right on. I mean, they're willing. They want to learn. They want to grow. They want to take care of people. They want to make a difference in people's lives.
Yeah.
I think it's the success of any business. So it's the same with you guys. You gotta want to be here. You gotta, you're fighting against odds. Most small businesses are because they're. It's like, well, no one else is doing it, and someone needs to do it, but it's really tough, and people say, oh, this can't be done in Melbourne. It's, I heard that so many times.
Yeah.
You're too far out for Melbourne, I opened my second salon. It was a big salon, and this is when I was on my ego trip. I had mirrored ceilings, silver mirrored ceilings. It looked like a space station, and the space thing was going on pretty big at that time. And I had a platform built up high so we could be looked on and admired. Because usually you walk into a little salon like this, you're looking at their back, you're not really seeing them, but we were looking out in this circle. And it was a trip, but I'm just saying, it was like
we need to.
Everybody said this is not for Melbourne.
Did that place become a club when you left?
No, but it could have. It could have.
Yeah.
Actually, it was the hottest place in town as far as get your hair done.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
All the Melbourne High, all the O'Galley High School, cheerleaders, teenagers, and all, they all came to our salon.
That's awesome.
And all the mothers and everybody. If you were anybody, you were going to be coming to Silhouette at one point in time.
That's awesome.
So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Was it just? I'm sure there's lots of things that work there. Just the culture that you guys have built. That it was a fun place to go, right? And that's the stylists were excellent. But like, what were the components do you think that made it so remarkable?
What were they? What?
What were the pieces of the business that made it the place to go?
Well, I think it was. A lot of it was the work that we put into it because we were out in the community all the time. We were doing cut-a-thons. We were doing charity work everywhere, anywhere we could. A girl just was in not too long ago. She said, oh yeah, you used to cut my hair. I said, oh really? Yeah. She said, yeah, I came to one of your cut-a-thons at Zares. And you cut my hair, and it was a great haircut. And then she was getting a free haircut, well, a $5 donation for charity. And then she ended up coming in paying, $30 for a haircut, which was a lot of money back then. So,
awesome.
That's how we did. We got out into the community. We got people known. We let people know that we'd listen to them. We wanted to cut their hair the way they wanted it. We wanted to take care of them, really. And I had a sign up once that said, we do things other salons don't do. We listen.
Yeah.
Because
great.
I kind of put it together listening to clients. Oh, yeah, I'm scared to death to get my hair cut because I asked for that much off and she took that much off. I said, well, that's not going to happen here. We don't get paid by the inch. We don't care what's on the floor. If there's no hair on the floor, good. You got your hair on your head and you can go home happy. And so those kind of things that we tried to initiate. I bet Jess still knows how to do a dusting trim.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yes, she does, of course. She's a great little hairdresser.
Aww.
No, she was really good because she's caring and loves
I
people.
am.
You am, but you don't do any hair for me.
Did
If you come in and do
Teresa's
hair on your day off,
do my own hair when
yeah,
I'm a little
okay,
bored.
yeah, yeah.
Jess, do you ever miss doing hair?
Sometimes I miss the creativity of it, and I miss my relationships with my regular clients and it's that kind of stuff. It can be. I think something in the beauty industry that gets misunderstood is that it's really superficial, and it's really not. Hairdressers, really good hairdressers, really care about the people that they're working with, and it's not just about vanity. I mean, they make someone's day. Somebody leaves feeling a lot better than they came in, but it is emotionally taxing, and there's a lot of components that make it really hard physically and emotionally for the hairdresser.
Yeah. Yeah, she just said it. The first year or so that I was in the business, I swear I cried almost every day I went home,
Wow.
I got so sick of seeing, my daughter's on drugs, my son's girlfriend just had an abortion, my husband beat me up, and just on and on and on.
Man.
And I would just oh my God, what can I do? I can't do anything. So make them look and feel better because of, that helped them get through whatever they had to get through. So it is, and she hit it on it's very emotionally draining, but it's also rewarding because when people, the relationship that most people have with their hairdresser is very close. In fact, when they move, they're not worried about their doctor and their lawyer and their dentist. And I had a girl just tell me the other day, she said, oh God, I can't find a hairdresser. I haven't even bothered looking for a dentist. And one of our guys, he's moving over to Lakeland. He just built a big house over there. He told me yesterday, he says, yeah, I'm still going to just be driving over here to get my hair done. He says, I says, I'm not going to try to search out a hairdresser. He's been coming to us for 20, David Norton. JJ used to do him all the time. Yeah. And so the relationship that we have with them is just so important. I mean, and people think, oh, I've heard them say, I'm just a housewife or I'm just a hairdresser. I want to slap them both because those are two super important jobs. I mean, housewife, there's nothing more important than being a mother and taking care of children and a man. I mean, because you guys need taking care of for sure.
We're just big hairy babies.
That's it. You're just big kids,
Yeah.
I always used to say, I've got 4 kids. Really, I didn't know what. Oh, my husband. That's the biggest one. Yeah, my son.
I want to hear that story.
My son was 8 months old, and my husband bought him a Lionel train. I'm like, do I look stupid? I know you bought yourself this train because you were poor too, like me. You never had a train. So he's so glad he had a son that he could buy a train for.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That is funny, man.
So it's just a super important job that people don't think it is. But when they lose their hairdresser or their hairdresser moves, I mean, we hear it. And the funny part of all that is that I would do someone's hair that they'd been a long time with another hairdresser, and they'd practically be in tears saying, "Oh my God, I'm so upset." And I said, "Well, I'm not Susie, but I will give you a very nice haircut." And the girl that was in yesterday, she said, "Yeah, you guaranteed me the best haircut I ever had," and it was Joanne, the hairdresser. I cut her hair once. She was in yesterday. She says, "Oh, my hair's so messed up." She says, "I thought back, where did I really get a great haircut?" And she said, "You came into my mind." And so she was in the salon. But I forgot, I lost my train of thought, but that doesn't matter. It was basically, I don't know, I got off of whack. It doesn't matter. I mean, it really doesn't matter.
No, you're good.
The worst part about leaving was having to tell all my clients individually over and over again.
Oh, I know. It was so
It's
sad.
gonna be your last haircut with me.
Yeah, Jessica does not like being the bearer of bad news.
I bet not, because she's too sweet. She doesn't like that, yeah.
Wow, you got her fooled. She's too sweet.
Nobody pulls the wool over Darlene's eyes.
Darlyne, the stories have been good already, but do you have we always ask scrappiest startup story? You know what I mean? Is there a memory vivid in your mind of something you went the extra distance for just in the name of success in your business?
I mean, there's probably so many stories. I opened 7, 8, 9 salons and 2 beauty schools. So there's tons of stories. One story that really comes to my mind is I was in Paris. I was at the Haute Coiffure of Paris, which is a big hairdressing function. And I was opening my Indian Harbor Beach salon. And there's no phones, no cell phones. We didn't have cell phones back then.
Right.
So we had to, whenever I'd see a payphone, I would call in to home and check on them. So I called, every time I called, this salon was being built. And I had given explicit orders, drew and designed every salon I ever had. I knew, it was all mine. I like everything curved and weird. But anyway, my receptionist is saying, "Darlyne, I don't think you're going to like these walls. They're not round." So evidently they had some amateur in there scoring the sheetrock, but he was doing it wide. So when he bent the sheetrock, it was like hexagon shapes all over the place. And it was supposed to be this nice, smooth, round wall. She says, "You're not going to like it." I said, "Let me speak to somebody," So I'm there. "Hey, look, I want those walls round. And I don't know who you've got working. I just talked to the supervisor." So then it was the same salon. So anyway, we got that settled. And when I got home, they were round. But the girl I called, she says, "Darlyne, they're putting the mirrors in the wrong place." And I drew a picture exactly where the seams were to go, and so we can have our stations in between. She says, "I don't think they're putting them in the wrong place, in the right place." I said, "I got marks on the floor where the seam should be, and you just tell them to follow them," because what they were doing was they were going to, where we sit with our chair, they were going to put the seam right there. And the seams were supposed to be where the stations were, so that we wouldn't be looking at a thing going like that. So
that's you on the payphone in Paris organizing.
That's it. And I'm going, Can you just try to handle this? Just look at my paperwork, look at my diagrams, everything is there. And he says, "Yeah, but he doesn't want to listen to me." I said, "All you have to do is say, stop what you're doing, because I just talked to my boss and she said they're going right there, and that's where you put them. She'll be responsible for it." So, and it worked out, and they did have them in the right place. And I think I had more trouble with building salons with the contractors doing what I had told them to do. because I'm very space oriented and I've worked in hair, so I know how much space we need, how much elbow room we need, how much front and back room, so, and they don't. They're not dealing with a hair salon. They're just looking at a blueprint and saying, oh, I think that should be a little bigger. Well, I had this big circular bench in the middle of my big salon that I built, and it had lights to accelerate your hair processing. And I had it exactly the dimensions I wanted it built, exactly how much it was, because I knew how we would back up to it. I get on there, and this thing is taking up the whole thing. I just, where are my hairdressers supposed to stand? Well, it looked like that thing should have been bigger. I said, I didn't ask you to think about it. I just asked you to do it. Do it. I'll do the thinking, you do the work.
There you go, thinking again. That's the problem. Yeah.
Please, don't be thinking.
But I love, this is a testament to just how, like, as an entrepreneur, you're so multivariant. Like, you know a surprising amount about sheetrock, apparently. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The stupid men.
No.
That's cool, Darlyne.
Oh, I worked very, very good with men. I had some wonderful contractors. They fought me tooth and nail. Darlyne, that's too much work. We got to do curves here, curves there. And especially when I was building the Apollo salon, as I had curved ceilings, I had just curved everything, and all the carpeting had to be put on curves and had some raised platforms and had mirrors hanging kind of sideways so you could see all over the salon with those. And I'm in there, and they're fussing at me. This is so hard. I've never had to work so hard. I said, don't you get tired of working on a square? I said, I would absolutely shoot myself if I had to go every day and put a square room and a square rug in a square room. I would just go, no. And they said, well, it's a lot easier. Our time is money. And I said, well, charge what you're supposed to charge to get the job done right. So we're finishing up, and I'm planning this big shindig. All my contractors were, do you mind if I bring my wife to show her the carpet? Do you mind if I bring my wife to show her that shampoo area?
They were proud of it. Of course
not. Bring them. Looky how don't you feel good? You did some great work. Yeah, maybe you don't have to do that every day. It's just like hair. We don't get to create a masterpiece every day. Sometimes we just do ordinary hair, a little bitty trim, blow it out, make the lady feel good, boom. But then you get that one client that just says, do anything you want, go ahead and create. And I love it when they say do anything you want, because I said, I was thinking about shaving all this side of your head and making a big blue mohawk up there. And then they would go, no, I don't mean to, no. I said I didn't think so. I'd rather create with boundaries,
Yeah.
Tell me what you like, what you don't like, so.
But you feel like
That's experience talking.
your aesthetic, like everything curved and the things that you created,
do.
do you feel like it was like significantly different than anyone else in the market here? I mean, all my salons were different. They had big holes in the walls somewhere and stuff like that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like those.
We had graphics on the wall. I mean, we did a lot of things. At our 50th anniversary, I made a collage of all my salons, and they were, they were all quite different and a little extreme,
But yeah, I mean, you could have just rehabbed a building and just been on trend with everyone else, but you did your own thing, and it's clearly worked.
Well, when you go into a salon, I know most of you have been to just salons. I'm not talking about the big spas, but this is a different era now, and things are getting more creative in the salon business. But still, in every public shopping center, there's a salon that's got a straight line, chairs here, and you walk down the middle, and that's every salon you walk into. And even though I might have had to work with those boundaries, I would put some curved walls here. I'd had a curved desk, something that would just add a little something special to it.
That's cool.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, clearly the most important thing is the relationship with your hairstylist, your hairdresser.
Absolutely.
But also walking into an environment where you can relax and it's aesthetically pleasing. You're selling an entire experience. And so I think that's brilliant. That's awesome.
Well, we're in the downtown O'Galley Art District right now, and we're in a very old building, and it's the most unique salon that I've ever had because of the pure architecture that was already there that I didn't have to do anything to.
Wow.
Big high ceilings, kind of like gold plaques or something. It's a very different salon. It's different than the one Jessica's worked in. But so we've enjoyed that because all of my salons ended up being in public shopping centers. It was pretty funny because public shopping centers or Winn-Dixie, and then Bank of America right across the street. So I've been with Bank of America for like 42 years. People switch banks all the time, but I'm one that does not like to switch. I'm very loyal to people that, I have the same plumber has worked on every salon I built. I call them, they're just good. They understand me. They know that I'm kind of crazy and they want impossible things, but
Which plumbing company is that?
It's Tucker Plumbing.
Tucker Plumbing.
Yeah.
Right there. Give them a little plug. All right.
Yes, absolutely. They're wonderful. I love them. And actually, my electrician, Jackson Electric, they did phenomenal jobs for me in all my salons. And
that's awesome.
Just, in the first salon, the little salon in downtown Melbourne, that's at the fork in the road. Oh, that salon was a nightmare. it was a little, I think it was originally a little house, and then they split it up and made two little offices there. Well, that's fine for an insurance company. You got, 2 plugs, a couple of computers and a lights, But hair salons, we require a lot of water and a lot of electric. So this salon, it blew the fuses. Every time we turned 3 blow dryers on, everything would blow. We'd have to run, jump up on the shampoo chair, reach up and flip the air conditioner because it would kick it off. It was just a scream. And so one day we're in there working, we hear this loud noise, boom! The transformer in the back blew because it was just too much so we had to get the whole thing rewired to be able to hold they don't think, but in these shopping centers, they don't build them. Now they probably are more, equipped with, for a hair salon, but before, especially with the big old pedicure stations that they have in some of the salons. We didn't have that. We had, we used to be a full-service salon. We did everything. And then when the spas started coming out and I didn't have a couple of $1 million to build a spa that I wanted, I said, no, we're going to just specialize in hair. That's what I know and know it better than anybody in this state practically, and that's what we'll specialize in. I can train them. I couldn't train anybody to do nails because I never did them. And even though I had 5 nail techs at one time, but the smell, we got to, just out of the building, so we just do hair.
My wife used to be a nail tech.
Did she?
Yes. So
where did she work?
Sorry. Get nailed and hair too in Palm Bay.
Okay.
Very classy.
Yeah. That's
No, that's
she probably got trained by Dwayne.
I don't know, but it was over in the plaza off of Wickham Road.
That was Dwayne's.
Okay, Dwayne's. Yeah. So one day she calls me up, and I would do anything for her. She said, "Hey, I need to do gel nails, and I don't have anyone." So
you got them done, did you?
You got some gel nails.
I got some gel nails, and I hated every minute of it, especially trying to get them off. That was a nightmare. And the second she put them on, and I left, I'm like, whoosh, I'm just trying to get them off, and it was brutal.
I only had nails once, and they bothered me so bad. They just felt like they were sucking the life out of my fingertips.
Yeah.
I like long nails, but I don't grow them and don't have them. So
I haven't had a manicure in a very long time, but I don't mind a good manicure.
Yeah. No, manicures are good for guys. Yeah. Because you work so hard.
Scared.
You're
You and I should go to some mani
Yeah,
pedis.
maybe we found our thing, Matt. Like
Yeah.
our me and you thing. You know?
I think you and I walking into a place together, it's saying, "Hey, we'd like some mani pedis," would be hilarious.
That'd be great.
I think you should.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
What are you doing
nice.
this
I mean,
weekend?
Well, you guys work so hard. You're out digging ditches and
it's-
working on your cars.
we were just digging a ditch before you got here.
You gotta take care of those hands.
Matt, maybe you ought to ask Darlene the questions.
Yeah, I'll ask. Okay, I got two little questions for you.
Oh, you
here,
do?
Darlene.
Okay.
I do.
Hopefully, I have an answer.
Yeah. So question number, was that light supposed to go out?
I'm sure we just need to switch a battery pack, but it's all right.
okay.
I'll just,
If it's cool, it's cool. I mean,
If it'll hide my wrinkles, leave it off.
No, you're good. You're good. All right. So we asked these. I already think I know the answer to these questions because you've been very thorough today. But we always ask these two questions of our guests right at the very end. Question number one: what drives you personally? What's your inner moral compass? And then two, what advice would you give to someone who is an entrepreneur? Maybe they're currently in the middle of starting something new, or maybe they want to start something new. What advice would you give to them? It's a little two-part question there.
Okay. What drives me? I think I want to hear the Lord say, "Well done, good and faithful servant."
Yep.
So I want to work and serve as unto the Lord, and He's blessed me greatly in this career. So I think that's what I just want to be useful, have a purpose. I mean, just laying around the house and being retired, it just does not appeal to me in any strange fashion. Because if I want to go to Europe tomorrow, I just say, "Hey, I'll be gone for 2 weeks. Y'all take care of everything, and I'll go." And fortunately, I have enough money that I can go.
Hashtag goals.
So that's I always have goals, and I always have things that I wanted to do. I wanted to have $1 million salon, one salon, and I did that a couple of years. I wanted to go to Paris. I wanted to, when I set goals, and then I'm willing to work for them. I think being willing to put in the time and work for it, that also goes to the entrepreneur. If you I love it when they say, and the majority of my assistants through the years, not all, but most of them would say, "Oh, I want to be like you. I want to own my own salon. I want to, I want to just be successful. I want to be teaching. I want to judge at hair shows. I want to do all this." And I said, "Great. That's fabulous. I don't want to hire anybody that just wants to do hair in their kitchen after I train them,
Right.
So, it's like about 2 weeks after they've worked for me, or a month, I said, because I do a pretty intensive interview, are you opposed to hard work? Can you clean up? Do you know how to clean toilets? Can you show up? Will you volunteer? So about 2-3 weeks after I've hired them, I say, "Sweetheart, when's your sister getting back in town?" She says, "I don't have a sister." "Oh, well, who did I interview?" Because, who was it I was interviewing because you don't want to work weekends, don't want to work Saturdays, don't like to stay late, want to leave early if you don't have a customer, don't want to help out, you don't like to clean, you'd rather be on your phone than being part of the team. So I just was wondering when your sister was coming back in town, because I was really eager to have her work with,
And then the brush comes out.
No, that's when I need to use the brush. But some people, when you sense it early on, because even a person that's not too smart is smart enough to act nice the first month or two.
Right.
You act like you're going to be part of the team. But that's it. You just got to be involved. You've got to want it like I told one of my girls the other day, you got to want this like a drowning man wants a breath of air. Because it is not going to come easy. And I don't know any professions that are easy, but ours definitely isn't. Long hours, stand on your feet, no benefits, so it's,
You got to want it.
you got to
really gotta want
really, you really, really want it. And you've got to go, I think it's above and beyond. Go give more than is expected of you. So if you do that, I know my first boss, he was like, what are you doing up there cleaning that chandelier? I said, well, it need cleaning. And he says, well, that's not your job. I said, whose job is it? It just needed done. I mean, it was just, something needs done, you do it. And so people don't understand that. I mean, to get, and I've seen a big change in the last few years. I don't think the last 3 years has done us any favor as far as people wanting to work.
Yeah.
And everybody I know is having trouble getting good help that wants to work. Y'all don't. You got Jessica, so she loves
That's
to work.
Yep. Yep. She likes to work Monday and Friday. And she's
Yeah,
Yep.
That is
I
not true.
Yeah, I said, I know that what kind of a job you want. You want to come in from 9 to 2, take an hour and a half for lunch, and work 2 days a week. That's good, but you're not going to make any money that way.
Right.
And you're not going to make a lot of people happy. And that's our job, is to make people feel good and look good. So
Well, Darlyne, you have lots of good advice and a serious history to back it up. So that's cool to hear it. And, congrats on all your success and the people you've influenced, man.
Well, thank you.
You seem to have made an impression on Jess. So
Oh, I love her. That's the bad thing about our business.
Ever had.
That's true.
it's on record. Right?
I tell all of my employees that they're my very favorite and that they're the best I've ever
I'm
had.
the only one that she means it when she does it.
And
There's not one person that works for Darlyne that does not know who I am.
Hey, Darlyne.
What?
Of course she's right.
Yeah,
Okay, man.
you're going to pay for that.
I know. Believe me,
Well,
I do.
I mean, it's just, I love Jess because she, like I said, she was in the Navy. She went to that little, what do you call that, reserve thing all the
Yeah,
time.
reserve.
She was so dedicated to taking care of that. And I know when I wanted to open a beauty school, I knew nothing about opening a beauty school, but all my assistants would say, oh my gosh, I learned more in a day than I've learned all the time. You need to open a beauty school. You need to open a beauty school. One day I said, I think I will. Well, I didn't know nothing about it. So I'm at, I think I was in Las Vegas. Yeah, I was at a convention that was in Vegas, and I had joined the school association. And so I'm there, and everybody goes through and tells everybody where their school is and how many students they have and everything. They get to me, and I said, well, I'm Darlyne McGee, and I'm from Melbourne, Florida, and I don't have a school yet, but I wanted to join because I wanted to be around people that knew about school business, because I didn't know anything about it. And that audience freaked out. You don't have a school? And then the narrator says, we can't get people that have schools to join the school association. So I think that's the key, is just be willing to do what other people won't do.
Yeah.
If you're an entrepreneur, you've got to stick your neck out. You got to take risks. You've got to listen to the naysayers. Oh, that can't be done. You can't do that in Melbourne. I mean, you've got to highfalutin ideas, but on and on. So I think you just have to be a risk taker.
I love it.
And yeah.
Man.
And love what you do. That's the most important thing.
Darlyne, it has been such a pleasure to get to meet you and to hear your story, and just thanks so much for jumping on our little podcast here.
Well,
I appreciate
I
it.
just love it. I feel so honored that you would have me on here, because I saw the list of the people you have on. And it's Lordy mercy, I'm getting in with the big dogs there.
Yeah, we're pretty exclusive, so
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Darlyne. Thanks for listening,
Well,
everybody.
thank you so much.